Welcome back everyone. In today's video I'm going to show you how I cut thin strips out of small pieces of wood accurately and safely on the table saw. This is probably about 40% jig and 60% technique, but it's a pretty easy one to master and pretty foolproof once you get the hang of it. The tricky thing with cutting thin strips is consistency of the width of the cut and the accuracy, making sure that that thin strip looks the same all the way through. And that's a little bit tricky on the table saw, especially when you start dealing with smaller pieces of wood. So I thought I'd share with you today a combination of jigs and technique for handling this type of cut. For this video, you're going to need to set up your table saw properly. In order to do that, you're going to need a simple feather board. You're going to need a couple of washers, 2 wing nuts, and 2 bolts. You're going to need the fence for your table saw, and you'll want to make sure that the bolts that you have can slide into the track that you have for your table saw fence. In my case, it's a rigid job site table saw, and the track is a specific size. The other things you're going to need is your miter gauge. The miter gauge that came with your table saw preferably. If for some reason you don't have the miter gauge that came with your table saw, you can buy these on Amazon fairly inexpensively, but you should always have one in your shop. And in fact, it's a good idea to have maybe more than one if you're building different jigs for your table saw. Finally, you're going to need some kind of piece of scrap wood. This is a piece of oak that I'm going to use for this project. We're going to make a very dead simple jig that's going to clamp onto your miter gauge, and I'll show you how that all works. And that's it. That's what you're going to need to cut thin strips on small pieces of wood. So let's get started. So we're going to take our feather board. This was part of the kit that came with my old router table. It was a fairly cheap router table, so it's just plastic. It's a simple straight feather board, and then the hardware that I have to work with. You'll notice the arrows on the feather board indicating the direction of the feed. And on my table saw, it goes in pretty easy. They're quite easy to adjust for height, but it's not going to work with a really thick piece of wood. So this is really only good for thin pieces, which is perfect for what I'm going to show you today. Okay, now with our feather board on, all we have to do is micro adjust it. I'm going to raise the blade up a little bit. Now, so that's about roughly where I have it. I'm going to do some fine adjustments when I get my workpiece in here. This feather board keeps the workpiece down because there's no other way for me to hold it, especially being thin, small strips of wood. The feather board keeps the workpiece from riding up or flipping back on you. And I set my miter fence at about 50 degrees. Now with the miter gauge in, set at 0, so it's nice and square. Not overly critical, but it still should be square. You want to put your piece of oak that you just cut, and you want the pointy end to push towards the fence. Now, first thing we're going to do before we get into that, you want to also make sure you have a clamp for this. It doesn't take much, just needs a decent clamp. Now, I'm going to set my blade height, which is probably the most important thing in this operation. Here's a thin piece of red oak. It's not the best piece of red oak, but it'll do for the demonstration. Normally never try to cut thin strips out of a piece like this. It is far too dangerous trying to do it by other methods, but this method has 2 components to it. First of all, it's the setup. So you want to make sure that your blade is only up just slightly above the surface. So I've squared up my fence and set it. And of course, if you have my table saw, you want to make sure you're pushing with the palm of your hand on the back of the fence before you lock it, so that it will automatically set square. So the featherboard gets lifted a little bit, and we set her down right on the surface. Don't press too hard, just enough to give it some nice even pressure and keep it down as you're guiding it through. So the second thing we want to do is we want to lock our miter guide into position. So I've got this again resting right up against the edge of the wood, but not restricting movement. So it's just touching it, ensuring that it doesn't kick out. And that's so we get a nice even strip of wood. If you want perfectly accurate strips of wood, that's what you do. So I've got a little bit of movement here. I can adjust if I need to, but otherwise I just tend to hold this in position while I'm cutting. So we're all set and we're ready for action. Now, for the most part, having the featherboard there is actually a good safety feature, in that your hands can't really get sucked into the blade from here. It actually prevents that from happening. But as a backup safety measure, you want to make sure you're still guiding with some kind of push stick. And I like to use a bird's mouth for that. So that's the setup. It's very simple and effective. As you can see, there's really nowhere for the wood to go and start acting crazy. There's nowhere for it to go splitting off. Granted, I don't have a riving knife in my table saw because I'm using a 0 clearance throat plate, and also because I'm using a 7 1/4 inch blade for a thinner kerf. And that's a personal choice. It just works out better for me. I've used this throat plate and this blade combination for about 2 years now, and it works out tremendously well for me. I'm not suggesting that anybody else should do it, but I find that it gives me the best performance, and I actually do feel a little bit safer using it this way. It is a combination of methods that I've learned over the last few years. Most notably, you'll see that I use the flip cut technique that I've talked about in the past for cutting thin strips. There's certain jobs where you can't use the feather board because your board might be a little too thick, or there might be a situation where you can't really do it this way. But in either case, the flip cut is a very handy method for getting through the entire piece. And with this setup, it keeps the cut consistent. You get identical strips ripped with pretty much no defect at all. These are nice even strips, so if you're using this for making, say, scale models, or if you're making very small pieces of trim, this is an ideal way to get those pieces cut consistently. As you can see, I get loads and loads of these thin strips quite easily using this method. I've tried all kinds of different methods and variations to try and cut thin strips safely and consistently, and this is definitely the best way that I know how to do it. If you want to support this channel, head on over to my donation page right over here. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. There are a couple more videos on this side you can watch. Until next time, thanks for watching, and have a great day.